Well, greetings and hello again, BUSN 1315 Leadership Instructors. So thank you again. I know that so much of what you do is just so much out of your heart, and especially that's true with leadership. And I thank you for your commitment to our college and to the students, and for all that you just infuse into them through this and the skills that you build. So what I want to talk to you today, I'm Joan McGrory, and what I want to talk to you about today is your Connect materials that I think support you in the work that you do and just really provide some interactivity. So what I have pushed out to you, I'm sorry, let me just minimize that, is a copy of your materials. Now this is as of the 2022 fall semester, and I hope that I'll be using this video for more than one semester, so the materials will look similar. So our current book is the 10th edition, and so we'll be using this while we're on this 10th edition. And this is the course that I push out to you as a new instructor. And notice it says your course, and I suspect that you're going to want to change that, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And also it says here's the registration dates. Now these are not your course dates. This is the dates that students can create their username into your course section. Now you might want to change this. You might want to restrict it and make it shorter or longer depending on what your term actually is. So how do I do this? Well, you'll go into Connect, you'll log into Connect, and you'll find your course. And one of the first things I think I would do is click on these three dots, because you'll see these next to the course, and edit the title. You can edit that. Set your registration dates. And so, I'm going to leave these, but this is where you do that. I'm going to click Cancel. And please forgive me, I have a lot of courses. Let me go back to leadership. So I've been using this for a while, so I kind of have a lot of courses. So you can set your registration dates. Now, once students start logging in and creating their username into your class, you will want to look at the student roster. This is really important for a couple reasons. One, I like to give points when students are very quick. I give them like a certain date, maybe like from the day of our first class meeting through Saturday or the next class meeting or whatever it is. If you are out there and you've created your Connect username, I'm going to give you 5 points for doing that and getting started in the class. And that's my incentive, kind of go, get out there and create that username. There should not be any hesitation in doing that, because our course participates in that inclusive access program, which means that unless you as a school, you as a, this is for anyone teaching this class, so your student has chosen to opt out. If somebody has opted out, then they will have to pay whatever fee to access the course material. But if it's participating in that inclusive access, the student has already been charged a fee for this access, so there's no need for them to delay. They can just go right out there and participate in the class. Now, when I say they can just go right out there, how do they do that? You have to give them a specific web address to your course. How do you do that? That's under this gear wheel. Click on that. Now, I'm going to show you mine, but don't confuse it as yours, because every copy of this course, even this one, which is my course, every copy of this course will have its own unique web address. So how do I see what that is? The gear wheel. Here's the registration sheet. I like to print these, by the way. You can print this registration sheet, and you can give this to your students. And here's the web address. Okay, it's long, and this might be email this to them. If it's emailed, it's not that long. If you have put it in your pause course, all they have to do is click it. But notice this. Edit this address. Look at this. Now, you don't get to shorten this part. This is a required part of the web address. What you do get to do is to put something unique in place of all of this. So you may come up with something that is meaningful to you that you can put there. Once you do, and you click the Save button, which I'm not going to do, but once you click the Save button, it will check to verify that this is a truly unique web address. And I'm going to hit Cancel. Once it is, you can just, I triple clicked, copy, paste, send that to your students and say, this is how you get in to the course. So that's how they would access your particular course. I'm sorry, I'm losing my place. Let me get my course again. There we are. I got a little lost. Like I said, I have a lot of courses here, a very, very long list. So anyway, so that's how you set your registration dates and how you set and find the web address for your class. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and click on this link to go into the class. And I've pushed a copy of this already. If you are teaching for this semester especially, I've already pushed a copy to you. So the very first time you open it, you get that first page. And now we get to see. Now this is the instructor view. This is where you can make edits on, on dates, for example. I put some tutorials in here and I give them points for completing these tutorials because I think it helps them just get familiar with the Connect environment. You can, if you want, click these boxes, come up here and change the dates, manage the dates. If you have extensions for students, I'm going to show you all of this type of thing, but let me unselect that. Under these chapters, here's the assignments that they're going to take, and you can see they have dates on them. So you may need to select all these assignments. Do you see I selected the group and that selected all the assignments? And then again, what would I do? I would come up here and manage dates. So you can do that. Copy assignments if you need to. However, you can see each one of those. Here's a test. And there's the test. And we can look at all these things. Again, managing the dates. And so all the assignments and the test in Connect. And these are really powerful. Now, how does the student see this? Well, here's a student view button. And this is what it looks like for the student. Now, with one exception that I want to caution you about. We're coming into this view of all the course materials, and I love this, and I wish that this is what the students saw when they came in, but they don't. Unfortunately, what they see is this to-do list. Did you see how I clicked the 3 bars? This is going to be important, and you're going to want to tell your students about this. And they, by default, when they log into Connect, they come to this to-do list. Now, I'm weeks before the semester starts, so what does it tell me to do? Nothing. I hate this. I hate this for a number of reasons that I will share with you, as we go around the world and discourage students from using this view, which they really like to use. And here's the problem. It only shows assignments that have never been attempted for 7 days, that are due 7 days in the future. So if an assignment is due 8 days in the future, and the student clicks on this to-do view, they will see they have nothing to do, but they do. They need to be getting started on their assignments. And so I don't like this view. Here's another problem. I give students, and the course is set up as you see in the syllabus and is common to our courses, and you can see this in the Connect settings. Multiple attempts on their assignments. So what if a student takes a quiz, takes a test one time and they have a F on it? It's a failing grade. They just got distracted. They had to go someplace at the last minute. There was an emergency. For whatever reason, they failed that assignment. Well, do they still need to do it? I don't think so. It's to done, isn't it? And that's terrible. That's terrible. As long as they still have attempts remaining, it should show in this to-do list, but it does not. So it's a terrible, filtered view that is not supportive of student learning. So here's what I tell them to do. Now, sometimes they like to look at the calendar, and I certainly understand that. And if they have more than one, and let me go ahead actually into maybe September. You can see there's August already. But if I look at, and you can see day, week, month, if I look at this, and they can even filter it by the particular class, they can see their weekly assignments. Now this is great, but I will caution you this. If you open up a lot of these assignments, don't give them due dates, or maybe like you open everything as late work. And so you have, a semester's worth of work due basically at the midterm. You have half a semester's work opened up for late work due at the midterm. It's going to be so large that they're going to have to expand and click more in order to see, and they don't. And so they may miss something that is like a test that is due at that same time. So be really careful with the calendar view. I like it, but there's just some cautionary notes. What is really great that you can show them, click on the three bars, click on classes, click on your class. Now they may have more than one if they're taking especially more than one class at Southwest. And this is where they're going to see all of their assignments. So menu, this lectern, classes, and then whichever class is theirs. So here's some things I want to very quickly point out. Some students do want to purchase an additional copy of the book that's printed. Now they have to have that ebook, and remember they've already paid for that ebook. This is an extra cost. They are not required to get it, but if they want it, there it is. What if they want to have this on their cell phone? Here's a download the mobile app, and they can read their book online. So some great features here. Now recorded lectures, that's actually an extra cost, and so we're not doing that. But here is their work. Now notice this is locked right now, this tutorial, so I can't get into it. That's what that blue lock tells me. It does tell me when it's open, tells me how many attempts I have on this tutorial, how many points, so some really great information. And as I look through each chapter, each folder, I see how many assignments I need to do. And some simulations. These are great. I'll show you this in a minute. Now, do you see that these are locked right now? But I can see, for example, what's in each chapter. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to return to the Instructor View. And for this test, these assignments, since I've already pushed it out, what all should I change? I'm going to expand Chapter 1. I'm going to select these assignments. Let me come here, Manage Dates. And I need it to change the start, right? So I need to change this. Let me see if I can sneak this in. It gets pretty picky. I don't want to wait too long. Let me say 6:45 p.m. That's always the one that gets you, the a.m. and the p.m. And save that. And what I should see is that it's changed this for all of these assignments, not these because they weren't selected. I'll do these real quick just because I'm have a little time here. Let me start these. This way we can see this. And let me say 6. I don't know if it'll allow, it's 6:35, so it may not let me do this. Nope, it caught me. I wasn't fast enough. That's okay. 6:36. But that's all right, because what it tells me now is that hopefully these should be open. This eyeball here tells me that it's either visible or invisible. Now it's hidden. I don't want that. Definitely want that open. The icons tell me a little bit about what kind of assignment. It's a smart book. It's a quiz. Ooh, it's a simulation. As I look, not all of these are going to be simulations. Yeah, like this one is not, so this is going to be a different type of activity. I'd have to click on that. It's probably like a matching. It could be a video quiz, something like that. But I've tried to use simulations whenever I can. Let me show you these assignments very quickly so that you'll know what to expect. Your students will click on Smart Book. Now you're the instructor, so they won't have this preview. Let me go ahead and click Preview though. Let me see if it will just do it directly from the student view. Okay, so the students would come in, they have their tutorials so they can practice, learn what they need to know. Let me expand my chapter folder because again, what did I do? I went to Menu, Classes, and opened our class because by default they'll be at that to-do list. All right, Oh, it's still showing that they're locked. Is it still locked? Oh, so I didn't say, did I say 6:45? Well, shoot. Okay, that's okay. Let me do this one more time. I am going to go into it as an instructor. I know I don't want to waste too much time here. You're really going to get well versed. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. 38. How about that? Okay, so hopefully in a minute it will allow us to see this through the student view. So I'm going to click the Smart Book. And I'm in as the instructor. I'm just going to preview it, and I have to click a couple buttons to preview it as the instructor. There was an edit option there. Now this is exactly what the student sees. They're presented with this choice. Do you want to start reading, or do you want to start answering questions? You know what students want to do. They want to get through this, right? So they're going to say, I want to start questions. You can flip-flop, and you should flip-flop back and forth between these two. I'm going to click Start Reading, because what I first want you to see is that this is the book. Page 1. Look at this. You know what the highlighting says? It says, we recognize that students don't sit down and read 30 pages of a book. They read what they think they have to absolutely know. That's why they buy books that are pre-highlighted. So this is pre-highlighted. And guess what? As the student answers a question and they show mastery of this topic, the highlight will go away. It will even change colors to maybe a green highlight, because they know that they know it now. I can go through the pages of the book. Look, here's page 2. Oh, more highlighting, because this is something that we need to know. I'll keep clicking. This is the early chapter, so it's not as exciting as perhaps it could be. Okay, but I want you to see it's the book. I do have an option down here to go to questions. So let's go to questions. Okay, it says, look at this. Make progress by completing concepts. How many concepts? 28. Guess what? You have to answer 2 questions to complete a concept. It says it's okay to get questions wrong. That's not like a quiz. If I race through a quiz, I can just accept that I'm going to make a poor grade and I can move on. Not with this Smart Book. With this Smart Book, if you miss a question, and you're not going to miss a question, and I'll show you why, we are going to give you another question. But again, you don't have to miss a question, because you've got the tools for success. You still earn 100% if you complete all questions by your due date. By your due date and time. The minute that you are working in this assignment and the due date passes, you are still studying, you're still reading that book, you are not earning points. So that's important. Here's what I'm trying to say here. This book, this is their book. It's a Smart Book. So it's always available to them throughout the term. However, they're not always earning points because it's an assignment. So it is a book. It's always available to them. But the points turn off when the assignment closes. So they need to be earning points by reading the book. It's interactive. It says submit your answers by selecting your confidence level. This will not affect your grade, but again, guess what? The student can look at reports on themselves to see if they have a very high confidence level and they're misunderstanding something. And you can talk to them about that. You can say, hey, show me your report. Okay, great. You are understanding everything and you're answering everything correctly. But if you see that there's a couple concepts that are in high confidence that are wrong, then you can talk to the students about that. On the other hand, if they say, I have very low confidence, but they're getting it right, what's going on there? What is the lack of confidence about? Or do they just have low confidence and you want to talk to them about that as a leader in leadership? Or what is it that they're tentative about? What is it that they think they might be confused about? So you can talk. Okay, got it. The student sees that. They see that message. Okay, this one's true or false. Leadership includes something happening as an outcome of the interaction between a leader and followers. What do you think? Think it's true? Let's guess. Let's say true. Now here's the confidence down here below. Rate your confidence. You feel really good, medium, or low. This is how you submit. Let's say high. Woohoo! We got it correct. It tells us we got it correct. If we had gotten it false, if we had said false and we got it wrong, it tells us the actual explanation. It reminds us. Now, this could be a multiple choice, whatever. It's going to give us all this information. If I want to read more specifically about this concept, I can click here. If I just want to return to the reading, then I would click here. You think the students are not going to follow this? They will follow this. They eat this up. They love it. Now, we got this right, so if I'm a student, what am I going to do? I'm going to keep going. Next question. I'm not even going to read. It says blah, blah, and I'm going to say high confidence level. Oh, no, I got it wrong. So, okay, so what do? I need to read about this concept. So which was not a basic issue that emerged among the survivors of the 1972 plane crash in the Andes Mountains. Wow. See, there's a leadership story here. That's what this question is about. So I need to read about this concept. Look how cool this is. It takes me to the page, to the part of the book that answers this particular question. Isn't this awesome? Highlighted it here all in blue. I don't want to take time to read this, so I'm going to click to questions and I'm going to go back. But do you see how it's done that? I mean, that is just so cool. Okay, maybe it's identifying. Oops, I'm sorry. I need to go. I don't get to. I'm sorry. I know this. I don't get to answer this question again right now. I might get it again, but I'm probably going to get a different question. Because I missed it, I didn't fill up my bar. I only got half a bar. Go on. I got to try some more. Let's go to the next question. True or false? Most researchers in the field of leadership are in agreement on the basic definition of leadership. When have you never ever known all of academia to be in agreement? Let's say false. Let's say medium. Well, I got that one right, but I had low confidence, right? So later, if I look at some reports, I'll see that my confidence wasn't real high on that, but it did not affect my score. Now, it actually was a question not on the first concept, but on the second concept. So it didn't skip that. It'll come back and fill in that bar when that question applies to that first concept. I can keep going. I'm just going to kind of keep going. And I don't know, maybe I'm low confidence there. Can you believe it? I got it correct. That's great. So, as long as I'm getting questions correct, I'll try D this time and I'll say, oh, okay, I missed that one. It tells me the answer to that. Next question, and I didn't get any points for that. So this is how we go through. Now, if I do this too much, I was kind of trying to make it do this. If I do this too much on a concept, if I keep missing the question, yeah, okay, it says, look, you're missing a lot of stuff here. So before moving on, you must review a resource for this question. In other words, I'm forcing you to read. You're guessing too much. So let's go into read about the concept. Look at this. Again, it's recognizing that students do not frequently read from the top of page 1 to the bottom of page 100. They want to use the back of the book, flip to what they need to know, get just that part, but they're still learning. And so this is a great interactive way to do that. It is their book. They can click on this. They can go to other, look at all these different sections. It's very clickable. I don't know, key terms. They can even go straight to key terms or to some questions, many cases. Look here, I'm already down in chapter 3. I mean, this is just reading the book. You see what I'm saying? This is just reading the book. So exit. Yes. Now, I won't have a score yet because I'm not actually submitting that assignment. It's going to stay open and I can go in and out of it as much as I want. The score will be completed when I either complete the whole thing and get 100%, or when the due date passes. So I hope what you're taking from this is that the Smart Book is interactive and it promotes learning, and it's cool. I know the video is getting long, so let me go quickly. Test prep quiz. This is what you would expect. Let me click on this, and I'm going to preview it so I can see what a student would see. Okay, so the student sees is 20. This is not exactly the way the student sees it. Let me go into Student View. I think we can do this now. Chapter 1. Here's the quiz. Now, here's how the student sees it. They click this blue arrow and they begin. That was the Smart Book, but they would see the Smart Book just as we did. Here's the test prep quiz. Tells them when it ends. Click on that. Now, how many attempts? When is it open? When does it close? How many attempts do I have? How many points is it? Begin. Oh, and it's timed. See, I'm trying to get them into the mode of test taking, right? Because it's going to be timed. Yes. So it says, okay, the clock has started. This is your first attempt, 20 points, continue. And they would go through. Now here, I tell them this is the hardest part, is they're not getting the feedback like they did in the Smart Book. Right? In the Smart Book, it's telling them, you got this right, you got this wrong, yay. It's here you have to have a little more confidence, and that's why we want to practice this. But how many attempts do we have? Right? So I'm going through, and and this is from a pool of questions. Let's pretend I've answered them all, and I submit. And it says, oh, you didn't answer them all, so it's going to catch me if I skip questions, and it'll tell me, go back in there. Can I view my results? Yes. And look at this. It tells me I got that wrong. Here's what I should have answered is the right answer. So I'm learning as I do this. And it continues. Oh goodness, I didn't get a single one right. My goodness. Okay, so you see how this works. I want to go ahead to a question. How many did I answer? Oh, okay. It even helps me on questions that I did not answer, so I can study. What if I try to memorize? Here's this question, here's the answer, scrambled. The questions are from a pool, the questions are scrambled, the answers are scrambled. So, it's timed. So it would take, you'd have to be pretty quick. You'd probably end up accidentally learning if you were trying to, use databases and that kind of thing. Now here's some fun. And these are fun to collaborate on. If you have computers in class, they're great for that. But I have pulled these up on a projector and said, let's walk through these together. These are, when you see this red square, this is a simulation. So I'm going to click on this. All chapter application activities are not simulations, but some are. Like I said, some are videos or matching. But let me show you the simulation. Begin. It gives me a little background. Okay, now this is a self-assessment. Do you have what it takes to be a leader? Instructor instructions. For this particular self-assessment assignment, you are asked to assess yourself. Please feel free to answer honestly and know that you'll receive full points on this one. Not on all of them, but on this one. Full points regardless of your assessment. You are not required to share personal information with the class. Now remember, this is chapter 1, and so you're coaxing them into, don't we always say, you begin teaching leadership by understanding yourself, and so that's kind of what we're doing here, right? It says, I will only review your score, which is full points for completing the assignment, okay? Leadership is about getting to know yourself. Take a moment and answer this assessment. Also, you can complete the assignment unlimited times without penalty. This is what I tell them to do with this assignment. I say, why don't you take it for yourself? Be honest. You don't have to share those results. Then why don't you talk to a friend and have them take it, evaluating you, like giving you some answers, or a family member, or they can take it as themselves to kind of see how they come out, because you're trying to get them engaged. They're going to get full points. You need them to do the work, and they get kind of excited. Okay, this assignment may ask you for sensitive personal information. Before submitting, you'll have an opportunity to decide whether or not to allow your data to be saved and included in aggregate reports. You may want to talk to them about this, just because it might sound a little scary. But again, it's kind of fun to go through the simulation. Okay, so I have to say this wasn't what I was planning on showing, but I'm glad that we did. So they can go through, they can read. I'm going to click on next, and next again. And here's it goes. I'm honest with myself, and try to tell them as much as they can avoid to be in the middle. Try to say, I'm honest with myself. Well, maybe I strongly agree with that. I'm upbeat and positive. Well, I sometimes I am. Let's say I regularly prioritize what I need to get done. Oh, my mom says I don't, right? So I'm a solution-oriented person rather than problem-oriented. Well, my best friend says that I am. I do not procrastinate. So when we're talking about sensitive information, you might want to show this to the students on your projector, for example, first, so that they can feel comfortable. You're not asking them for, their deep, dark secrets. So I do not procrastinate, but they may be embarrassed about this. So maybe you're like, oh, I procrastinate. And it's about acceptance of this as well, knowing that this is who you are, and somebody in your team may be stronger. So you get the idea. This is self-assessment. I'm sorry, let me just try to, because here's then action steps. You can look at these questions as I go through. I'm sorry I'm not looking at them. I realize this video is going long. Bear with me. I thank you. I really do. I want you to feel comfortable, and so I'm probably over-explaining, but I hope that it's helpful. Okay, here we go. So although there are no hard and fast cutoffs for this score, your score suggests that you have good leadership skills. So it could coach them, or maybe I should have put all bad things so that I could see what it said. And look at this, some examples, comparisons. Here's a president we can think of. Productivity, here's how I fell on that scale. Look at this, Fortune magazine and Bill Gates. So we can learn how we compare with other well-known leaders. Blockbuster, Ford, Chevy, car dealerships, all kinds of things. Aesop's Fable, that's a good one, right? Goose that laid the golden egg. So I get some nice feedback. This is a simulation. This is a little different than some of the ones I was thinking of, but they're probably in later chapters. So application activities are exactly that. They're an opportunity for them to kind of apply their skills. Sometimes the simulations are graded. Again, they can go through them unlimited times until the due dates, and I think you'll enjoy them. I do have one class where I use these as in-class activities and exercises, especially with leadership. I think that collaboration, this can be great. Now, everybody still has to earn their own points. They still have to do their assignment. But, you know, this can be some great partner and teamwork if the students are comfortable, you know, as you're building leadership with them. Their scores are immediately recorded in pause. The exception, the Smart Book grade, remember, it's when they get to the end. Now, what if they don't get to the end? Well, their score on the Smart Book is the percent completed. So if they only got 80% of the way through, then their score is 80%. And remember, they have to fill in all those concept bars. Test prep quiz, you know what? Open the book in one tab. Use your book to go through and research that. But I will tell you this, if they go through the Smart Book, they'll ace the test prep, because this is such great preparation for them. It really is. Okay, so let me go back to the Instructor View, and I want to show you one more thing, and then we'll conclude. And I hope you've stayed for the end of the video, because it's always the credits that are great, right? Well, first of all, how do you look at their scores? Performance, reports. I can look at all the assignments for the class. So maybe we just did Smart Book and, you know, these activities. I'm just selecting these. I can get their best score. That's what I use. I tend to look at points, but you can look at percentages if you prefer. I tend to exclude attempts submitted after the due date, but if you decide to accept those, that's your decision. I'm not dropping anything at this point, because I'm only using, my grading policy, their best attempt. So unlimited attempts, they can study with this, right? No matter how many times they take it, I'm looking at their best score. Click on View Reports. Oh, I don't have anything to show because I don't have any students. You would see a listing here that you could even export to Excel, and that's what you type into pause as their grade. Now, I can also look at individual students. I can look at the assignment statistics. There's great things here to look at. Here's another thing you want to look at. Here's the library. Now, students do not have this tab. This is only for instructors. Another way to go into the book, paper test builder if you need that. This is what you want. You want Instructor Resources. If you can see up in, let me try to make this bigger. I'm blowing this up. This is this upper left-hand corner. Here's that instructor's manual that I also put into pause for you. Here's those PowerPoint presentations. Of course, you have those in pause. You have the test bank, but again, all that material is already available to you in Connect, in those assignments. Your tests are set up for you, all of that. Oh, I thought this one had some, okay, different class. I'm thinking of a different class. Different classes have different resources. So there are other types of assignments. If you want to give a writing assignment, set one up. Look through this. By all means, explore this. There's some really great things. This content matrix is really cool. If I click on this, now I've already done this for you, but this is just something for you to look at if you would like. This Excel spreadsheet tells you for each chapter the types of assignments that are available. And you may not be able to see this, but I'll leave it to you to look to on your own. What I want you to see is that there are video cases. I have tried to assign those where I can throughout the content. These manager hot seats can be kind of fun. They can practice their supervisory skills. Here's a teamwork, right? And look at this, the application-based activity. I just call it application activity. So obviously I did not assign all of these, okay? I'm just telling you this gives you a list because here's what you may want to do. And I have done this, so I'm giving you ideas. If for a particular chapter I didn't assign one of these, and you say, oh, I would love for us to do this as a class, you can go ahead and assign that, put it out there in your materials, create an assignment, and use that as an in-class activity. Okay, so I just want you to know that you have resources available to you and to explore this. That's under Instructor Resources, which again is on this tab. So lots of things available to you. Home is, of course, how you get back to your instructor view and you can see the student view. So this is a quick, and I apologize, I know it's very rushed, but a quick introduction into these materials so that you can use them with your class and use them effectively. And I hope that some of the ideas that I've suggested are helpful. Now, I do want to clarify, you know, this is about student learning, and you're a faculty, and I don't need to tell you this, but just because there have been incidents, let me go ahead and say this. You know, the SmartBook, obviously, you can see how that's interactive and it works with them. Test prep is for their preparation, their benefit. You're only recording the highest score. They have unlimited attempts, so they really maximize their success. The application activity, perhaps, you know, when I said this is a group activity, we do want to be careful that students are earning their own scores. Definitely do these things in class. When collaboration is appropriate, do that on this. In comparison, let's take the SLO test. In comparison, the SLO test might be something that you give as a take-home test. It might be something that they do in class. If they do that in class, what we would not want to do is say, what do we all think the answer to number 1 is, right? Because it's a test. So for something like that, which I discuss in a separate video, you know, they need to be doing individual work. But what I'm saying is I understand, and I want you to feel comfortable with using these materials to promote and leverage learning in your class. One thing, final note, you do see the chapter concepts. And again, in PAWS, as I mentioned in a previous video, you will see the student learning outcomes for each chapter. So these are the important things that we need to cover throughout this semester, so that this is the Southwest college level course. And then the students need to take that SLO test that assesses their mastery of learning objectives. And of course, they have the study tool in PAWS to prepare for that. But these are the chapters that we cover for our Southwest College Leadership class. And these are the materials that we use. And so I hope this is helpful, and I hope it supports you as faculty, because I realize I'm rushing through and giving you all these to-dos, and it doesn't convey what I truly feel, which is how grateful I am to you for doing this. And just, I think this class is really special at, you know, leadership. I'm preaching to the choir. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all you do. Appreciate you.